So let's talk a little bit real quickly about Kineo office hours. Thank you for joining me and discuss a little bit about what they are and who I am. My name is Taylor Craig and I am the Learning Platform Specialist here at Kineo, and my job is to help with onboarding of clients with training as well as training for current existing clients, as well as work with our sales team to let potential clients know what it is that Totara can do. So my primary focus is Totara. I have about 7 years experience working with the LMS, Moodle, and Totara. More so with Moodle, but Totara is becoming an expertise of mine daily. It's a very neat system that I am excited to share with you and can't wait to tell you all about it. So what exactly are Kineo office hours? Kineo office hours are something that we offer to our existing clients only. This is for our hosted as well as supported clients, and we encourage you guys to come out and join us and take a look at what our office hours are. What we do is we have about a 15-minute feature presentation where we go over either something new to Totara, something existing to Totara, something people are submitting lots and lots of support cases about maybe. We have a whole list of different things that we're going to cover over the next several weeks. We offer this once a week on Thursdays at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, and it's 45 minutes of open floor discussion and questions. If we have questions, great, and if we don't, that's fine as well. But I am here for 45 minutes to answer any questions that you may have. So what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about Totara Programs. We will cover what they are, how they're different from learning plans. So we're going to kind of build on our last session. In our last session, we talked about learning plans, and then we'll also talk about how we set those up. To learn more about Totara Programs, you can go to help.totaralms.com, and I would point you to the benefits of using programs area. Typically on that site, you can just search for the word that you're looking for, programs probably being that word. Search for that word and it will pull up everything you ever wanted to know about Totara's programs. If you have any questions during the process of this, please feel free to add those to the questions box. I will be monitoring that and keeping an eye on it, so if you have any questions, I will try my best to repeat those, as I know that the questions don't actually show on the recording. So we'll make sure that we repeat those and get those into the recording for sure. So about a program, it is made up of a couple of different things. You've got your program details, which is essentially where you're going to define what a program is and the name of it and all of the different additional settings that go along with that, and we will take a look at that. But the basic major components of a program are going to be course sets. Course sets are going to be exactly what it sounds like, a set of courses. Inside of that course set, you can have one course or you can have multiple courses. It's completely up to you, and it depends on the flow that you're wanting to send those users through that program. Inside of those course sets, like I said, you have courses. And then the assignments area of a program is not, when you read the word assignments, your mind immediately goes to something that the learner needs to do. But in the terms of Totara Programs, assignment means the people who are assigned to that program, who's going to be able to see that program. So that's what that's going to be. Programs work similarly to learning plans in the fact that there are workflows, but the workflows are going to be quite different than in a learning plan. Workflows in a learning plan, as we learned in our last session, those are going to be determined as far as who can create the learning plan. Workflows in a program are going to be how a learner goes through that program. So it's going to function primarily on then and or statements. So let's take a look at kind of a visual representation of what a program looks like. But before we do that, let's talk about what programs are. So it's a course set or a group of courses that learners must take together. Those are set up in site administration, courses, managed programs. And then reasons why you would use a program: this is going to ensure your learners go through courses in a particular order. So if you need to actually push your learners through in a given order, program would be the route to take versus taking a learning plan there. And then also you can track completion of that learning. There are some program reports out there that are available that are really nice to watch. So here we've got what a program essentially looks like in a visual representation. So you have your site category, and your categories, when we're talking about site categories, that's going to determine the different types of courses that you have on your site. It's mainly for organization of your courses on your site. And then inside of those categories, you can create programs, or you can create programs just by going in and going to Manage Programs like we saw, and build out your program there. But you'll see where we get into the site categories in a moment. And then inside of that program, you're going to determine what your course sets are. So here we have 2 courses inside of course set 1 here, the top one. We have 2 courses, Introduction and About Your New Company. Now since these are in the same course set, these learners can take these courses in any order. So I could take About Your New Company first. I don't have to take the Introduction course. I don't have to take these in any particular order, and Introduction does not have to come first. Since they're in the same course set. However, I have to complete, depending on the course set settings that I set, I may just have to complete one of these. I may have to complete both of these. It just depends. But I have to do something in this course set before I can access this course set because of that then statement. So this is going to be that workflow that we were talking about. I have to take Code of Conduct, and then I can access the Health and Safety course. So that's how this program is going to function. So this is going to be another representation using then statements. This is using or statements. So in this particular case, I can take any of these 6 courses in any particular order because we have or statements in between. This might be more so of what you might actually see. So we've got courses 1 through 3, or course 4. So I can take any of these 4 courses, then I have to take courses 5 and 6. So it's completely up to my learners as far as how they take that learning in this particular case. So we've kind of already discussed what makes it different from a learning plan, but 2 good key ideals that you can keep in your mind when you're sitting there looking at your Totara site going, okay, do I need a learning plan? Do I need a program? Which one do I need? 2 key things that you can keep in the back of your mind is a learning plan. Typically, we call that your optional or your recommended learning. So that's going to be the learning that you just kind of, you're either letting a manager assign that down to the learner saying, you know what, Tommy, I think you need help in this area, this area, and this area. Whereas a program is mandatory learning. So like new employee onboarding, health and safety codes, those types of things. Programs are going to be stuff that you definitely want learners to go through and that they need to go through. So enough of that slideshow. Let's take a look at an actual site and take a look at how in the world you might build one of those programs. So to build a program, you're going to go to your site administration, then you're going to go to courses, and then manage programs. Here you're going to see we've got program categories. These program categories actually mirror my site categories. So the site categories, when I'm talking about that's going to be under site administration, courses, manage courses, and categories. So that's the actual location that I'm talking about. Let's just open that in a new tab so we can see how those mirror. So Kineo webinar series, Kineo demonstration, those are the 2 categories that I have on my site. You'll notice that my program categories mirror that. And these program categories are automatically created. Then you have to go into one of these 2 and create your program. However, you can have a program with courses stretching across any and all categories in your site. So you don't have to, you're not restricted to that. So let's just go in here to Kineo demonstration. And let's click on this button right here. This says add a new program because currently we have none. So I'm going to add a new program. This is that details part of the program that I was talking about. So here we can name our program. Give that program a short name. You can provide an ID. You have an available from and an until date. If you set this available from and until date, this program will go dark. So it won't be visible to those learners after July 30th. Okay. For this example, I'm going to leave it open. You can provide a summary for this program because one thing we did learn in our last session is that with learning plans, you can allow people to grab a program in their learning plan if you make that available to them. So you may, in that particular situation, you may want to provide a summary of that learning program. Also in the catalog, when you search, you can search for programs. If that's a feature that you have available on your site, you can search for programs, and that may be another area where you would want a summary. This is where you would place that summary. You can add summary files. Then you can also provide an endnote. That endnote is going to be what learners would receive once they have completed that program. You would want to make this visible if it's something that you're going to quickly enroll people into. So keep that in mind. That's what that checkbox does. You also have icons that you can choose from that are available to you, but you can also load your own icons in. So if you don't like the icons that are just core and standardly provided to you, it is absolutely possible to add in additional ones. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to save those changes. And then we're going to move over to the Content tab. This is just going to give me a summary of my details. I'm going to click over to the Content tab. And then inside of the program content, this is where I can determine if I want to have a set of courses. I can have competencies, and I can have recurring courses. Today we're going to focus on course sets. So I'm going to add set of courses and say add. And then this is going to pull up again. We see those category names, Kineo, Webinar Series, and Demonstration. So like I was saying earlier, I can have courses across categories inside of my program. That is perfectly okay. So I may want to have Totara Course Basics, and then I may want to come in here and say, you know what, that's the only course I want in this particular course set. I can name my course set. So in this case, I'm going to call this Phase 1. These are those settings that I was mentioning earlier where we've got learner must complete all courses, one course, some course. In this particular case, we only have one course, so all courses is going to be, it's going to work out just fine. You've got minimum completed courses, course score field, and minimum score. These are going to be related to if you use the some courses option. So keep that in mind. That's what these are related to. So say I had 5 courses in this course set, I could say you have to complete at least 3 of those 5 courses, and I would put a 3 in this box. Course score field and the maximum score, these particular 2 fields, they're going to be related. And in that case, you would have to put a custom field inside of your courses. Most of the time what you might see is that you might put a custom field called credits or call it hours and then provide a number there. So 3, 4, 5, whatever, however many credits they're going to get. And then you can say the minimum score that they have to receive. So if I have 5 courses, each of them are worth 1 credit, and they have to complete at least 3, I would say minimum score would be a 3. Okay, so that would be how that would function if you were using that functionality. Minimum time required. This is not going to be something that's going to force somebody through and they have to take that in one day. It's going to be kind of a, you know what, this course is probably going to take you a day, or it might take you 5 hours, or however long you've got options here, okay? So I'm just going to flip this over to no minimum time because it's really not going to matter in this case. Then I can come down, I can either save my changes and be done, or I can add another set of courses. So let's do that real quick. And I'm going to add new employee onboarding, health and safety standards, and code of conduct. We'll just put both of those in there, or all 3 of those. We'll scroll down. You'll notice that it renamed this to Phase 1. We still see this here. And this one's called Untitled Set. We're going to call this one Phase 2. Okay. And again, the settings are going to be exactly the same. The warning that this is giving me is I have a face-to-face activity inside of these courses without multiple sessions set. So I may only have 1 session in those, and my session dates very well could possibly be out of date because I haven't used these in a while. So chances are that's where that warning is coming from. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save my changes. But we're going to talk about this if and then, this or then statement. So right now we have a then statement. So what that means is that they have to take Totara Course Basics before they're able to access any of these. And that is really it. That's how you create your program. Then we're gonna quickly talk here about our assignments tab, and then we're gonna open the floor. But inside the assignments tab, you can come in, you can assign an entire organization. If you have organizations set up on your site, you can assign positions. You can assign audiences, and then you can do a management hierarchy as well as individuals. So if you have just particular people, you have a very small site, you might be assigning individuals to that program. I'm going to choose audiences so we can see how that works, and then say add. And then what that's going to do is it's going to give me an area for audiences, because we don't necessarily need audiences, organizations, and all of that. But if you needed multiple different types of assignment options, you can do that. In this, it's going to give me an area for audiences. So I say add audiences program, and then it gives me my list of all of my audiences. And I can run through here and I can say I want these people, and these people to take it. And I can delete different folks. I can manage that however I might want to. And say OK. And this is going to impact 217 learners on my site when I hit save. Okay, so that's basically how a program works. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how this is going to look to a learner real quick. So let me just grab a learner here that I know is assigned to this or one of these programs. Let me go ahead and save those changes so we can see that. It's going to impact 217 people. So we'll save all changes. And then let me log in here as Gary Fisher. He is a frontline associate. He's one of those employees that's assigned to this training. And let's just take a look at his required learning under my learning. And here we see that he is a member of the audience employee training, and so he is seeing that this is one of his programs. You're also going to see something interesting here. This is a brand new program, but he's seeing a lot of green. The reason he's seeing a lot of green is because these courses are actually part of another program, and he has completed those courses. So Totara is smart enough to realize, hey, this guy's already done this work. He doesn't need to redo it. He doesn't need to do it again. So it's able to realize that, and it's able to go ahead and launch that. You'll see that Code of Conduct is not available, so that course may actually be turned off. And Totara is smart enough to realize that that course is turned off, and so he can't access that. One gotcha here, guys, to be aware of on these programs, you'll see launch course in there, and we're seeing that his status is already marked as complete. He actually completed that via RPL himself, so his administrator went in and marked him as complete in that course. But in the launch course, so say I hadn't already taken this learning, or it hadn't already been marked as complete by my manager or by my administrator on my site, I am not actually enrolled in that course until I click that launch course button. So if you're an administrator and you're looking inside of a course and you're going, okay, I just put 217 people into a program, but none of those people are showing up in these courses. Why is that? The reason that's happening is because those people have not clicked that launch course button. So that is how your programs work. And once they click that launch course, that is essentially the trigger that is enrolling them into that course. And then they can begin their learning and begin going on from there. And then you can start pulling reports as they progress through those courses. All right, guys, so that is programs in a nutshell. If there's any questions, the floor is open, and I will turn it over to you. Thank you so much for joining us.